Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Word Inspiration. Wherever you're tuning in from, let me say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our listeners. And in this case, we're also on our YouTube channel, so welcome to all our viewers. April 17th is known as World Hemophilia Day, and each year this is celebrated right across the globe, and it is usually focusing on those persons who have an inherited bleeding disorder in which the blood doesn't clot properly, and this can lead to spontaneous bleeding as well as bleeding following injuries or surgeries. According to our research, approximately 1.125 million people have hemophilia worldwide. An estimated 300 Jamaicans are living with hemophilia. Our special guest today is Alex Parkinson, and he is the president of the Hemophilia Society of Jamaica, and we'll be talking to him in a little bit. But just so you know that today's theme for World Hemophilia Day is adapting to change and sustaining care in a new world. So we're going to light it up red. I tried to find something red to put on for this episode. We're going to light it up red as we continue to spread information and to encourage also those persons who are hemophiliacs, not only here in Jamaica, but across the world. Also, a little later on, we'll be switching things up a little bit and we'll be focusing on fitness goals, right? Are those necessary? Do we need to exercise? What are the kind of exercises that we need to be doing? So you want to stay tuned for that. Again, this is Word Inspiration, renewing your mind and increasing your spiritual health, a podcast program produced right here in Kingston, Jamaica by Jadana Murphy and Damon Scarlett. We'll be right back after this.
Many words to be your man. I fight 1,000 guys, live to die 1,000 lives. Oh, I find another way to make me smarter, just so I could understand.
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Shane Mays and you're locked into Word Inspiration with Damien Scarlett.
Welcome back to our show, Word Inspiration, renewing your mind and increasing your spiritual health. Joining us here on set is the president of the Hemophilia Society of Jamaica, Alex Parkinson, a good friend and a brother of mine as well. Welcome to Word Inspiration, Alex.
Bless. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing? How was your day?
Well, not too bad, outside a bit warm, but for the most part.
For the most part, but
good.
you're glad to be here, right?
Good.
Right. So how long have you been a part of the Hemophilia Society?
All right. So originally, the whole concept of the Hemophilia Society was roughly going on in Jamaica from around 2000, early 2000.
Okay.
But we formally got registered with the company's office in late 2017.
Okay.
So we're now registered and we're also a charitable society.
Okay. Wow. How long have you been president of the association?
Well, pretty much from 2017,
Okay.
it was, I kind of saw a need and persons kind of encouraged me to make that step because a lot of persons out there really need the help, so
Okay.
I took the mantle and ran with it.
Wow. Congratulations for also taking on the charge. And as we said, that the theme this year is adapting to change and sustaining care in a new world. There's so many diseases out there, illnesses out there, and so on. And hemophilia is one of those things too, a condition that, as the research says, at least 300 Jamaicans are actually considered to be hemophiliacs. Tell us a little bit more about this illness, this condition, when we talk about internal bleeding. Share with us.
All right, so basically, hemophilia is a bleeding disorder. Mostly affects males, but it can also affect females also.
Okay.
But I think when persons hear about hemophilia, they think that once you get a cut, your blood be running like water freely. But that's not the thing. With hemophilia, you bleed with a regular consistency as a regular person, a normal person.
Okay.
But the thing is that we bleed a bit longer. And I don't know if I had mentioned before starting that I also have hemophilia, right?
Right.
So
We're getting to that
Yes,
part of the
yes, yes,
conversation
yeah, so-
because we wanted the viewers to understand a little bit about the
Mhm.
history, and then also how did you become the president of this association? Because one would want to think that perhaps you also suffer from that condition. What's that like for you, though? What has it been like for you?
Well, it's for every person that has hemophilia is always challenging. It's from his school days, his work days, even the work days now. I'm having challenges just the same, man. With that, you know you can't play regular with your friends, or in adult stage you can't go out with your friends as how you want to do and engage with certain things. A friend of mine run some football game, you won't come with them, and you know certain things you just kind of have to put on pause, you know, because just to take care of yourself. Because the thing is, for most persons with hemophilia, we get internal bleed. So with that now, it mainly affects the joints.
Oh, okay.
So your elbows, your knees, so on. So with that,
So that makes you feel very weak, or
not necessarily. You only get weakness when you're losing blood, right?
okay.
So for us, if you continually get bleeds in the joints, after a while it become deformed. And that's what we realize in a lot of our young ones that have hemophilia. They have serious joint deformities. So what we do, we try to see if we can get assistance for those persons.
And you said it's a charitable organization. So do you get assistance from like Corporate Jamaica, Ministry of Health?
Well, yes, we have been getting some assistance from NHF.
Okay. National Health Fund.
Yes, they help to get factor, but not at the consistency that what we need, right? And we also get donations from the World Federation of Hemophiliacs.
Okay.
What I didn't outline is that what persons with hemophilia need is factor, right? Factor basically acts as the clotting factor that helps persons to bleed normal in a sense. Right?
Okay.
So that's what's missing from a person with hemophilia. Someone that's normal, you bleed and clot normal. For a person with hemophilia, we don't really click.
That's a challenge there. So as the president of this association, and in terms of what are some of the activities that you and your team have been doing in terms of trying to reach out to other persons with this kind of condition, when you go on the ground, when you interact with those persons, what are those interactions like? What are they saying? And you spoke about your own example too, and you said that, boy, you can't do the things them that your friends them normally do. How you accept that? Like,
well, that's it's a thing that kind of grows on your life, kind of push it on you in a sense, you know. So there's no much choosing. It's the reality of things. But what can really happen is that if persons get that clotting factor, that medication that's desperately needed, then you can basically live a normal life, you know. So when persons hear of hemophilia, it's not really the end of the world. You think that you're gonna die and so on. No,
you can still live a normal life with this condition.
You can still.
So can you travel like at long distances with this kind of condition?
Well, yes. Fly, from here to, because I'm originally from Montego Bay, and we travel back and forth. But there's always this sense of insecurity that if something should happen to you on the way, for example, from Ochilega or whatever the case may be, what will happen to you? Because you can't just bring a person with hemophilia to just a regular hospital because you need to stop the bleeding. So it's a bit scary at times, I can say, but yes.
Wow, and you're also a married young man too. You know, and I know even for you as well, you have that strong support. Whether you're married or not, in terms of those persons who you have interacted with, in terms of faced with hemophilia, What's the support has been like for them? Do they have family members that support them, community-wise? What?
All right. So for most persons, they have a sense of support, but there's never always enough support. There's always support needed, you know. So what we try to do is help those persons. So for example, persons in hospital, we see how best we can assist them. We find out what they need and so
Yeah.
on. And the next thing too, most of the persons with hemophilia with joint damages, they cannot work. So we also try to assist those persons, whether they need groceries and so on, you know. And
Wow.
for even the young ones, we have a few young ones in Bustamante. We go and look for them. We try to encourage them, encourage the mothers also that this isn't the end of the road, you know. Most of them have, you know, it's the worst concept or the worst idea of what hemophilia is. So we just try to help them to know that even though your son is going through a rough time at this time, it's not the end of the world. We just
Yeah.
continue to help them.
How many persons you have on your team?
All right, so the committee comprises of 10 persons, you know. At the head, I know I told you it's the president, but it's kind
Yeah.
of a co-chair kind of.
Co-chair, okay. Yeah.
Because at the head is Dr. Wharf. She's the head of pathology at University of the West Indies, you know.
Okay.
So that we have other members of the committee, or the outreach and so on. So yeah, man, it's a good balanced committee that we have.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that. But one of the things I also have to probably ask you, and given the fact that I also host a radio show too, is the fact is that you need representation, and oftentimes you need persons who are sitting at the table who can have those kind of conversations with our leaders. You spoke about the investment from other organizations, but specifically the Ministry of Health and Wellness here in Jamaica. How supportive is that entity to your society?
Well, there's always need for help all
Okay.
around. I don't think we have fully gotten corporate Jamaica on board. We're
Okay.
hoping to in the near future. Ministry of Health, as I say, is really from NHF
Okay.
angle. That's where
They kind of fall under
yes,
Ministry of Health,
pretty
so
much.
to speak.
But as I said, there's more to be done, because for a regular person, if they come in with a severe bleed, they can pretty much wipe out a good amount of the medications quickly.
Wow.
And that leaves other persons coming in with a bit of challenge. So we always need that level of help and support. So there's always room to engage them a bit more, and we wish to have them more on board.
Okay, and I'm using my platform, Word Inspiration, also to reach out to other organizations here in Jamaica, churches, other groups who would like to come on board and to help persons suffering from hemophilia. It's a condition that is very serious, and persons also want to live a normal life as well, a healthy life. And I'm so grateful that you have decided to kind of give back to Jamaica in this way, serving the people of Jamaica with this kind of condition. So, Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, I'm calling also on the Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, who works at that organization, that body, to also to whatever you can do to come alongside the Hemophilia Society. I know you have a lot of things under your watch, but this is also a critical part of our society as well. And as the theme for World Hemophilia Day says, adapting to change. And boy, Alex, it's COVID time. How have you been adapting to change right now?
Well, for me, you know, we just take the regular precaution.
Yeah.
For persons living with hemophilia, though, we are not at any greater risk than anyone else. It's just one of access, they will call it. Because if we need to go in to get treatment and, you know, the hospitals are closed down, then we'll be in a bit of a jam.
Wow.
Yes, you know, so it has been challenging for us, and as you know, our bleeds come on a bit regular, so even the trips to the hospitals can be a bit tricky and a bit scary for most persons. So it has been challenging. It has been challenging. But with challenge, we try to embrace it and see how best we can overcome it. We're seeing how best we can get more medication in. If we have sufficient, we can even have persons treating themselves at home, you know, self-infusion, if they are able to. So yeah, there's a lot of ways we can really adapt to this real change.
Okay, and I must ask this question because we're also in the season of COVID and vaccination and all that. Is it something that is recommended by your organization that you are part of for persons who are hemophiliacs to also become vaccinated?
Well, yes, we would encourage persons to. When I spoke to the Dr. Worf
Right.
last time, she's saying that pretty much we're okay. You know, most persons had the fear that if they got injection, they would be swollen,
Right.
because that can happen. But they, according to Dr. Worf, with the size of the needle and so on, the damage should not be as severe. And if they should run into any difficulties, then they can always get treatment at university or KPH and so
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Boy, we're gonna have to bring you back, Alex, to
Yeah,
talk
there's
some
so
more.
yes, there's so much
to
more to
learn about
hemophilia.
this whole matter about hemophilia, and our heart also goes out to those persons who are having it rough at this time. And again, we just want to say from Word Inspiration that we want to encourage you and your team to continue to do the best you can, all that you can to support such individuals. We will also support you through prayers and whatever way we can do as well. But final thing, Alex, what would be your encouragement to those persons who are hemophiliacs as well? And one thing that you don't want to say to Jamaica?
For our young ones that have hemophilia, young and old, as I have been mentioning throughout this whole program, it's not the end of the world. We keep fighting. Things in Jamaica isn't perfect now in terms of treatment, but if we continue to work together, we can make it very successful at the end of the day. And for Jamaica, I would really like to appeal to corporate or the entire Jamaica, whoever can help us to in any ways, because we need physio and team, we need food stuff. Any way you can help. If you have someone who can source a medication for us, also that would do a world of good for us. So in any way, shape or form, and we also have our account at NCB also, so you can get in contact with us at how you'd like to donate, if you want to donate monetary wise.
All right, so how can those persons reach the society? Facebook, Instagram, what? Tell
All
us.
right, so we're on most platforms. We're
Okay.
on Facebook at is HSJ page, or you can just search for Hemophilia Society of Jamaica. Same thing on IG is hemophilia.society.jamaica. And our email address is HAEMOP. Sorry, I always keep messing up.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
man.
I can give you the details of that one. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
no man, no problem.
yeah.
We know how it goes sometimes. But
Yeah.
check them out on Facebook, check them out on Instagram. Also DM us on Word Inspiration. If you're watching on YouTube, also drop it in the chat or something, and we'll try to reach out to you. And if you can also come on board and to support the Hemophilia Society of Jamaica, I encourage you to do so. We've been talking to Alex Parkinson, the co-chair, let's put it that
Co-chair,
way,
yeah, co-chair.
of the Hemophilia Society of Jamaica. And ladies and gentlemen, April 17th was recognized, or will be recognized, as the World Hemophilia Day, adapting to change, sustaining care in a new world.
And also, I want to encourage persons for that day. You can wear Word in support and tag us on our page, on our Facebook page, and also on IG page also.
All right, so the team are gonna come out now, right?
Yeah, come out
Support.
in your Red and just share it with anybody, because persons need to know about this. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex. All the best to you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for tuning into this particular episode of Word Inspiration. We're bringing across a health side of things today. Again, thank you so much. Word Inspiration, renewing your mind and increasing your spiritual health.
Thanks for watching this edition of Word Inspiration with your host, Damien Scarlett. Join us next time for another episode of the Word Inspiration Podcast, renewing your mind and increasing your spiritual health.